We are running through the biggest geek stories at Comicbook.com, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for Comic Book Now. What's up, Comic Book Nation? Welcome to Comic Book Now. I'm your host, Brandon Davis. It's Thursday. We're back. Yeah. Charlie Ridgely's here.
We're back.
Very excited.
You're back, though.
I know.
You're back.
Last week, I was on set of The Walking Dead, seeing some really awesome stuff I can't talk about just yet. But I can tell you I was there. So that's all I got there. But we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. We have breaking news to start the show.
Yeah,
right
we do.
Before the show went
Big
live, we got some breaking news. And it's New Mutants related. So how about that? Anya Taylor-Joy is playing Magic, and Macy Williams of Game of Thrones is playing Wolfsbane. So that's some exciting stuff. We have more details on that story at Comicbook.com if you want it. But that just happened, so we didn't, you go get the details. But our topic that we want to start with today is Wonder Woman. This was the original plan before 20th Century Fox decided to jump into the mix. The new trailer was released this week. I think this trailer is fantastic. Yeah. I get your tweets, guys. I've seen plenty of you complaining about it for some reason, saying it showed too much. Mm-hmm. No, it did not. It did not show too much. I thought this trailer was fantastic. I thought it got me more hyped for Wonder Woman than any trailer before it.
I think this is one of maybe the best trailers we've seen so far this year because, one, like we talked about with Thor Ragnarok, it was a trailer that didn't need to show a ton of stuff to get you excited. Right. And how can you say that they're showing too much when they haven't even shown you the villain? Right. Remember, at this point with BVS, we'd already seen Doomsday. We haven't seen Ares, we haven't seen a lot of this stuff in action. They're doing a really great job of holding back. I mean, I see Reese in the comments right now, I know you were going to bring this up, saying there's too many Wonder Woman trailers.
There's only 4.
There's been 4.
The only movie that's had less trailers than any other movie is Logan. So, and Logan was great, but that was a movie that just was shrouded with mystery. Both its trailers were fantastic. And Wonder Woman's doing fine. And the other topic with this movie is the marketing slipping up because we haven't been bombarded with TV spots. We haven't seen all these trailers. We haven't seen all this marketing. Wonder Woman is on a giant billboard in Times Square. Wonder Woman, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 just came out last weekend. Why would you compete? Why would you put your ads on TV and your commercials on at the same time when there's another comic book movie coming out a month earlier? Wait until the ad rush for Guardians is done.
And it's not like, DC and Marvel are in direct competition for that exact same brand, I guess. If it was Justice League and the Avengers opening a month apart from each other, or Guardians was getting followed up by Green Lantern,
right?
You want to go head to head. You want to prove that you can exist with that. But Wonder Woman and Guardians are such vastly different movies. And the one thing that we're forgetting about is with Wonder Woman, they've been really smart about their ads. Okay, they haven't had as many like they did with Suicide Squad, but they're choosing them carefully. They had a trailer run right in the middle of the NCAA championship for basketball. They had a clip run at MTV Movie Awards. They're trying hard.
Yeah, I think they're going to get around to it. The big thing is that it's only estimated to make $65 million in its opening weekend, which is only a little bit more than Ant-Man. I think it's going to blow that away.
Absolutely.
I think Wonder Woman is going to make a lot of money, and we don't have to worry about the ads just yet. If you don't start seeing them, then worry. For now, let's put that conversation away. But on Comic Book Now, you guys see Charlie and I every Thursday. We have debates like the one we just had. We sit here, we geek out with you guys. We answer your questions. We give you the top stories. A lot of those stories, however, are written by the awesome staff members that don't always get in front of the camera as much as we do, which I think is an absolute travesty, okay, because these people are an awesome bunch. They're so much fun. So we put together this segment for you guys to get to know the Comicbook.com staff.
I'm Charlie Ridgely.
I'm Jim Viscardi.
Adam Frost.
My name is Jamie Lovitz.
Brandon Davis.
Matthew Mueller.
My name is Megan Peters.
My name is Riley Hutchins.
Kofi Outlaw, that's my real name. It's not an industry name. Comic book you know what? I'm going to surprise you because you're going to think I'm going to say X-Men, and actually I'm going to say the Sandman.
Definitely the Infinity Gauntlet.
My all-time favorite comic book is Lock and Key by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez.
Probably going to have to go with Death Note.
X-Men. Daredevil by Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev.
Frank Miller's Daredevil, I think, would be my favorite. Favorite movie quote ever is Hakuna Matata.
I'll be back.
I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
That was my brother, and now he cannot walk.
Hakuna Matata, doo-doo.
I think you're the Antichrist.
What a wonderful phrase, doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot, and what you need. A lot of people bring a lot of wasteful things.
A lamp with a genie in it from Aladdin, so I could have 3 other wishes.
Toothpaste. because I've noticed that I can't be productive without brushing my teeth.
Is my wife a thing? Like, can my wife hang out?
The Age of Apocalypse, the whole series.
A lighter to make fire, and I mean, you could use rocks, but I want a lighter. It's a lot easier.
A thing full of ice so that I could like combine it with all the flavors on the island and make my own like snow cones and ice cream.
I would probably be Rocket.
Rocket Raccoon.
Definitely be Rocket.
I'm most like Rocket, I think.
Rocket.
I would be Groot, easily. I sit in one place for a long amount of time.
I'm Groot.
Who wins in an arm wrestling match between BD and Charlie? I'm gonna go with BD.
BD.
Is this a challenge? Why have I been asked this question?
BD. BD wins in an arm wrestling match every time.
BD. But I love you, Charlie, and you will put up a really big fight.
BD wins an arm wrestling match between BD and Charlie.
Oh, BD, without a doubt. I don't want to admit it, but like, I mean, it's the truth.
Should we right now?
No, I'm not doing it.
Can we do this right now?
No, I'm not doing it.
Sorry guys, I tried. Let's get back to the news. How about this little admission from Diane Lane on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen.
Diane, can you give us any Justice League spoilers? And do you think it'll be better than the Avengers?
Oh, good Lord.
No and no.
No and no. Very good.
Short but honest. I hate to disappoint, but
That's just something you don't say. That's like when Josh Trank bailed on the Fantastic Four right when it was released, and he said there was no. But here's the thing. I don't think she's going as far as this is when you take it out of context, because she says there was two questions. The first one was, can you tell us anything about Justice League? Is it going to be better than the Avengers? She said no and no. And then she explained herself. She said short but honest, didn't mean to disappoint. Now people are taking didn't mean to disappoint as Justice League is going to disappoint you. I'm not taking it that way. I'm taking it as I didn't mean to disappoint you by not having an answer for can I tell you spoilers for Justice League.
I don't know if I agree with you. It sounded like she was just disappointed in what she thinks the movie's going to be. Regardless of how she meant that, she just said, no, it's not going to be better than the Avengers. And that's, you don't do that, Diane. You don't do that.
I can't. I can't argue with you there. I could defend the explanation. I can't defend the simple no, it's not better than the Avengers. But next up, we got our first look at a teaser trailer for Gifted. Let's check this thing out really quickly.
Who taught you how to swim?
You.
I can teach you this.
Wish my sister was so cool.
This is a burden. It's also a gift.
Hilarious. It's going to be so cool.
All right, hidden in there is the first look at Blink and some cool little extras, but we're going to have to wait until Monday for a full look, a full trailer at that X-Men TV series, so it's a safe bet. We will be talking about that next week right here on Comic Book Now. But continuing with TV, we have some exciting TV news that also came out this week. An animated Deadpool TV series is on the way to FXX with Donald Glover in charge. Krypton has been ordered to series at Sci-Fi after the pilot was screened for executives at NBC Universal. That same network has ordered a full series of the Grant Morrison Happy adaptation with Chris Maloney in the lead. And finally, Judge Dredd is making another comeback, this time hoping to actually be good for the first time, but on television. For me, the most exciting bit is the Happy news. I think that's awesome. It's a 4-issue comic series. It's going to be bizarrely entertaining. I think maybe I'm just most excited because I actually own all of those, and if the show gets really popular, they'll be worth a lot of money.
I'm with you. I'm excited for Happy. It's been one of my favorite comics for a long time, so I'm pumped to see that like actually get to be a thing. And Maloney looks awesome.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We were talking about this earlier. I think when I was reading Happy, way before this was even a TV show or anything, this was years ago, 2012-ish, whenever that came out. I was reading it when it came out. I think that I was reading it like, this guy looks like Chris Maloney. Yeah. And then they cast him. I was like, that's perfect.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah. And finally, our last story of the week is Hellboy's next big live-action endeavor. No, it is not going to be Ron Perlman, unfortunately, but hey, at least it's happening, all right? Instead, Hellboy is getting a reboot with Stranger Things star David Arbor in the part. maybe after those cable talks fell apart, he just didn't want it to be a hero. The new Hellboy film will be directed by Neil Marshall of The Descent and Doomsday. Bittersweet news, though, as this does serve as the final nail in the coffin for the already hopeless Hellboy 3 Ron Perlman has been trying to rally fans behind for a while now. But by now, you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, a movie that actually did happen. If not, what kind of fan are you? $500 million worth of people have beaten you to it. For those of you who squeezed in only one viewing so far, I'm on 3. Step it up, guys. You may have missed a few of the cameos director James Gunn managed to sneak into the movie. Guess what? It's your lucky day.
Guardians of the Galaxy contained a ton of Easter eggs, but Volume 2 raised the bar in terms of important cameos. From famous actors of the 80s to some more obscure characters from Marvel Comics, here are all of the notable cameos in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Warning, there are major spoilers up ahead. Starting with a softball here, Howard the Duck appeared very early on in the movie, having a drink with a woman on Contraxia. Many expected his inclusion after his post-credits cameo in the first Guardians movie, but it was still a nice surprise nonetheless. Stan Lee has appeared in every MCU movie, but this was quite possibly his most significant cameo. Lee appears alongside the Watchers, a race who oversee the actions of the entire Marvel Universe. Fans were hoping to see David Hasselhoff in the movie after learning he sang the Guardians theme song at the end of Awesome Mix Volume 2. Star-Lord told Gamora he used to tell other kids Hasselhoff was his dad, explaining his father's absence while he was off filming Knight Rider. During the film's climax, Ego took the form of the Hoff, asking Peter what he wanted in a father. Hasselhoff spoke only a few lines before turning back into Kurt Russell. Sylvester Stallone portrayed Stakar Ogord, otherwise known as Starhawk. Starhawk was one of the original Guardians when the team was created back in 1969. He and Yondu talk about going way back, and that's because Yondu was also a member of that classic team. Standing beside Stallone at all times in this movie was Martin X, played by Michael Rosenbaum, the Diamond-like character who was also one of the first Guardians. Speaking of those original Guardians, more of them appeared at the end of the movie during Yondu's funeral. They were referred to as the Ravager Captains, but these were all Guardians throughout the comics. Many recognized Ving Rhames as the giant Charlie 27 and Michelle Yeoh as the wife of Stakar, Alita Ogord. In one of the post-credit scenes, former Guardians Mainframe, voiced by Miley Cyrus, and Krugar also appeared, agreeing to go on more missions with Stakar. So you can expect to see a lot more of these guys in the future. To address the elephant-sized cocoon in the room, yes, that was Adam Warlock being created by the Sovereign during the credits. Aisha made that pretty clear when she said, "I will call him Adam." With Aisha's villainous turn being made evident, it's likely we could see Warlock appear in Guardians Volume 3 after he was reportedly cut from the Volume 2 script. The credits themselves were a ton of fun in this movie, and they included little cameos from a couple of notable characters. Peter's grandfather, Cosmo the Space Dog, and the Grandmaster, played by Jeff Goldblum, all made appearances. Did you catch all of these notable cameos in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? If not, maybe it's time to head back to the theaters for another round.
Either way, it's time to head back to another theater for another round. But speaking of rounds, how about a round of applause for Charlie Ridgely?
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Always
I'm a little upset though. I realized after we made that I missed one. James Gunn's parents were in the movie, and he didn't come out and say it till after. Yeah.
Well, that's okay. You told him now. This was your chance to tell everybody.
His parents in the movie. We wrote it up on Comicbook.com. Go check it out.
But now it's time for my favorite part of the show. Charlie has been monitoring your questions on Facebook all show long. We monitor the hashtag CBNow on Twitter, so you can send them any time of day, and we will answer them. What are they talking about, Charlie? What can we talk about?
All right. Everything. Everyone's talking about Wonder Woman, what they think. Something there's been too many, something there's not enough trailers. That's the big conversation. But also, we had a question from last week we wanted to get to from Terrell Muriel. They wanted to know, when could we maybe get another Star Wars The Last Jedi trailer? Brandon, what do you think?
What do you mean another? Have we even gotten one yet? I mean, that first, that was 2 minutes and 20 seconds of pictures. Like that, They could have just released still images and they would have told us just as much about The Last Jedi. It was cool, it was exciting, Star Wars is coming. I think we get another trailer, another look at the movie. Probably, I don't know, it could be with Spider-Man Homecoming would be an interesting plot twist because that's technically still Marvel Studios, which is Disney umbrella, even though it's also part Sony. Right after that, you have San Diego Comic-Con, and right after that, you have D23.
Yeah.
At one of those
sometime in July, most likely.
Right, one of those three, you're going to get another look at Star Wars: The Last Jedi. It's anybody's guess right now, though.
Mike Yang, just you were talking about TV, want to know, what about Black Lightning? We got some news about Black Lightning yesterday, right? It was
ordered to series.
Ordered to series at CW. That's a big deal.
CW just can't get enough. They cannot get enough comic book TV shows.
They want it on CW.
And iZombie.
Yeah. They got to have it. Yeah. James Viscardi wants to know who tied Brandon's tie.
Actually, James, we did a pre-show on Instagram. If you want to follow us on Instagram at Comic Book, we did a live pre-Comic Book Now show where I learned how to tie a tie thanks to YouTube. That's right.
So thanks, YouTube, for that helpful tip.
Thanks for the great question, James Viscardi.
All right, Skylar Ward actually has a two-part question coming up. Skylar Ward wants to know if we think that Spider-Man Homecoming will be better than Sony's movies, and if we think that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was better than Volume 1. So first off, Brandon, Spider-Man. Do you think it's going to, let's stay with perform better in the box office than Spider-Man 1 and 2 from Sam Raimi? I think it's going to crush Amazing Spider-Man. There's no doubt there.
See, I think this movie is reaching out to a whole new demographic of young people that the first movies maybe didn't necessarily. I think the first movies had that excitement and buzz of being, the first time in Spider-Man, the first big, real good superhero movie. Now we have so many superhero movies to choose from. They're getting to that point where do you even bother seeing all of them? Let's get to the point. I don't think it can overall beat Spider-Man 2. Yeah. I think in the opening weekend, Spider-Man Homecoming does really, really well.
Absolutely.
But I don't know if it has the legs to actually go the distance and beat Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, and nowadays we're seeing bigger and bigger opening weekends. They're not always breaking the all-time box office records, but those opening weekends are what crush. And I think this has a bigger international audience than it might have before.
Oh, absolutely.
The marketing's a lot heavier. So I think it's going to perform really well. I think it's going to be a great movie, too.
And it also has the advantage of being that piece of the puzzle now. All these Marvel movies are you're almost obligated to see them because they're all pieces of the puzzle, especially with Avengers Infinity War on the horizon.
Absolutely. We actually got a really good question from Haley Carlos on Facebook. She wants to know, who do you think has the Soul Stone in the MCU? Now, we've talked about this in the office a lot.
Does the Vision have the Soul Stone, or does he have the Mind Stone?
I think he has the Mind Stone. The Soul Stone, I think, is with Heimdall. We saw him with the yellow eyes in the Thor trailer. I think he's got something going on with a stone.
That's very possible.
The Age of Ultron, the whole.
Yeah, I just don't think. I don't think it's been officially addressed, but I think Heimdall's a really good option. It's probably, Asgard obviously is fully aware of the stones somehow.
Maybe and that would explain him being around. I think Heimdall's. That's my guess. I could obviously be wrong. I don't know for a fact, but I think Heimdall's got something going on. All right, you think the Ravagers will appear in Infinity War from Freddie Gonzalez?
Why would they? I mean, the only tie there is Kraglin. Yeah. I think Kraglin will be in Infinity War. Sean Gunn's already on set because he's playing Rocket, so why not use Kraglin too? Will the Ravagers as a whole be there? Does that mean Starhawk and all that? No, I don't think so. I think the Ravagers and that story with the previous Guardians roster that we know from comics is saved for Guardians Volume 3.
All right. 2 quick questions to wrap stuff up. First, we got Ryan Wallace. Do you think a lot is weighing on the success of Wonder Woman? We talked about what it can do, but do you think it has a lot riding on its shoulders?
I think DC movies and Warner Brothers are already reevaluating the future of their films. I think after Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad's reception, I think there are major changes, which we're seeing that in The Flash. We almost saw that in Aquaman when those rumors of James Wan possibly leaving came out. So I don't think Wonder Woman is going to affect that either way. I think that it may have already felt some of those effects. You can clearly see the trailer has bright colors in it and all kinds of things with Patty Jenkins' style on it, which looks fantastic. I think Wonder Woman looks good. But I think Wonder Woman is going to be a good movie, a success at the box office in terms of its reception by critics and fans. I don't think that's going to play too much. I think they're already going a different direction than they already planned.
Yeah, good answer. I'm just what he said. And last question from Freddie Gonzalez. Again, man, Freddie has some great questions this week. Which film that's currently in production hell do you guys think you want to see happen? So
mine's right there.
Yeah.
That's definitely mine. World War Z. I mean, World War Z is slowly coming together. It just got a director.
World War Z 2.
World War Z 2. Yeah, World War Z 2. I want that movie so badly. It just finally got a director attached to it. So that's been mine. I really liked the first one. I know the first one wasn't beloved.
It looks like yours is finally climbing out of production hell. Mine's Gambit. I mean, I know everyone in the comments always asks about Gambit. You always want to see Gambit. With Channing Tatum, I hope we get to one day see this movie. With all these X-Men movies coming out, we might, but oh man, I want to see that movie.
Growing up, Gambit was my favorite. I mean, he was hands down my favorite because of the comics and the cartoon. So I'm all about that. We actually got to talk to Simon Kinberg and Hutch Parker about this. They promised that movie's still coming. I've heard Channing Tatum as Gambit is one of the coolest things they've ever seen. So we'll see about that. Hopefully it can climb out of production.
Hopefully.
It's tough. We did have a giveaway last week.
Yeah, we did have a giveaway. So we asked you guys to do your favorite Star Wars moment on Twitter and let us know. We're going to give you a Build-A-Bear Star Wars. And we picked 2 winners, Angela Lopez and Grant Levi Grubbs. Congratulations, guys. You're each going to get sent one of these. We'll get in touch with you. We'll have our people call your people. And we'll get something set up so we can mail you guys these awesome little... Thanks, Build-A-Bear, by the way, for letting us give these away. I appreciate Build-A-Bear for helping us out there.
And that's where we're going to end the show today with those adorable Build-A-Bears.
He makes a noise. Isn't that awesome?
That's all we got time for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this Thursday and every Thursday. Make sure you wake up early and watch the Get Up with Chris Killian tomorrow morning to end your week with all the best news. On behalf of Charlie Ridgely and all of Comic Book Nation, I'm Brandon Davis. We'll see you next week.